You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Good morning, Yankees universe, and welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Thursday, January 16th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, joined by my compañera this morning. I got the lovely Grace Monroe, and all you Yankee fans, wake up and get some coffee. Grace, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Do you remember that? Yo, I'm going to go a little off topic, but do you guys remember that movie, The Princess Bride, from I think the 90s? Remember that scene where the guy is like, he's like, where am I? And he's like, the pit of despair.
That's how I sounded.
Yeah, that's how you sounded. Welcome to Yankees Morning Brew.
Welcome to the Yankees Morning Brew. Shout out to the chat. Like Alex says, Grace, that sweater is fire. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Sean Browning. Tita is in the building. Our good friend Highlander is here. Salute to you. FL Diver is in the building. FL Diver, I hope all is well. Salute to you. John S is in the building. How you doing, Johnny S? Stephen B. Shout out to Stephen B. Stephen B was on our TikTok live last night in the chat. I started doing TikTok lives. Guys, follow us on TikTok, Uptown Sports TV. TikTok's not going anywhere, I swear to God. Cadzilla is in the building. Shout out to Cadzilla. FJ is in the building. Theo Nosebleed section. How you doing? Anthony Medina, mi hermano de la isla is in the building. Anthony, how you doing? We got Dev Finch in the building. Dev, I hope all is well. Happy good morning to you, my guy. NY Yankee Mania, shout out to you. Salute to you. Kristen Castillo is in the building. My guy John, NYC Pinstripe Club is in the building. Folks, if you guys can, go and give my guy John a subscribe on his YouTube channel. A dope content creator. Him and I, we just connected on TikTok. I've been joining his TikTok lives. Great content he puts out. If you guys can, follow him on YouTube, subscribe to his channel, follow him on TikTok as well. Pinstripe Club, Pinstripe Nation. Shout out to my guy John. Welcome him. Make sure you guys welcome him to the Morning Brew. Yankees Morning Brew familiar. Shout out to you, John. Hayden Bayer is in the building. Big Ant NYC. How you doing, big fella? Salute to you. Salute. And Johnny B is in the building. Grace Monroe.
Let's go.
Brandon Donovan. The Yankee rumors are going. We got a special guest. Dexter Henry will be joining us soon. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Dexter Henry will be joining us momentarily. It's going to be a great conversation. We got some Yankees topics to talk about. I know it's been a week since we've been back, but Grace, how are you feeling with the Roki Sasaki situation? He said the Yankees aren't one of the teams that he wants to go with. It's down to the Padres and it's down to the LA Dodgers. Please not the Dodgers. Whatever you do, please not the Dodgers. But Grace, how are you feeling?
I should say I wore this sweater in honor of Roki Sasaki because every candy heart says, get out of here, goodbye. You wish, bite me, please leave. That's how I feel about Roki Sasaki. You don't want to be in New York, fine. Goodbye. Good luck. And don't let the door hit you, So for me, I never expected him to come to the Yankees. I don't think anybody in the chat expected him to come to the Yankees. Truly, of course, we were all holding out hope against hope that maybe he would decide to come, but he obviously didn't. And can you really blame him? I mean, LA has better weather. LA has a shorter flight home for him and his family. LA has a thriving Japanese community. Well, of course, he hasn't said he's going to LA, but let's just say the West Coast. The West Coast has all these things. You can't really blame him. If you were him and you weren't a Yankees fan, obviously you're a Yankees fan if you're watching Yankees Morning Brew. If you're not a Yankees fan,
what are you doing with your life? What are you doing?
But you can't really blame the guy. So I'm over it. Goodbye. I'm an Aquarius, so I've moved on already. Goodbye. I don't care. Next.
Yeah. Shout out to Juanito in the building. Juanito, how you doing? Eddie Snap, salute to you, my guy. My guy Ghost is in the building. Shout out to Ghost. Salute to you, Ghost. We got Mikey Perez in the building. Stephen C, how you doing? And I gotta agree with you. When it came to Roki Sasaki. Eddie Snap says Blue Jays being on the final is like a stepchild being used for attention. Absolutely. That's what you got to look at it with the Blue Jays being that last team. I highly doubt it. But for me, when you look at the Roki Sasaki situation, when I made that video and even whatever little bit of news I got from, a little source, I said, take it all with a grain of salt. You got to treat this scenario just like Yamamoto. We got all hyped up with Yamamoto, thinking that he was coming to the Yankees. Everybody kept saying, oh, it's a lock, he's coming to the Yankees. And then we look like fools when he wind up signing with the LA Dodgers, right? So that's how I wanted Yankee fans, myself specifically, to handle the Roki Sasaki situation, right? When it comes to Roki, he's a phenomenal talent. He's going to go to either the Dodgers or the Padres. I don't see the Toronto Blue Jays. If he winds up in Toronto, you know what? God bless you. Shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays. They were able to sneak one away from the New York Yankees. I just see him going more towards the West Coast than I see him going all the way to Canada, and in my opinion. But it's just another day, another dollar. International free agent signed. There was a lot of signings that happened. And now teams, the Padres and the Dodgers, are trying to trade for international signing money, right? So if you're a team that you have international signing money, if you're trying to sign Bregman, if you're trying to sign any of these players that are attached to qualifying offers, you're going to wait until Roki Sasaki signs. That way you could go out there and sign a player and lose international signing money, right? If the Dodgers and Padres right now are calling teams up, hey, we're trying to trade for international signing money, what do you want? If you're going to try to hold on to all your money, everything that you want. Listen, if I'm the Yankees, I'm calling up the Padres. You want $5 million in international signing money? I'll send your ass Marcus Stroman right now. If you take take Marcus Stroman and his contract, and you get an extra $5 million in international signing money. So teams are being strategic right now when it comes to that side of the conversation, Grace.
And that's why I think we were saying last show how Roki was holding up a lot of things. And once he actually decides where he's going to be, things are going to start moving again. It's not going to be as quickly as after Soto, but it will kind of take the clog out of the market in a lot of ways, because a lot of things are dependent on, like what you said, all these other pieces of the puzzle. And it's really kind of on my last nerve, because Roki isn't even negotiating a contract or money or anything. All he has to do is decide where he wants to be. Why is he dragging this out like The Bachelor and giving roses to certain teams? You're eliminated, you're not eliminated. Just decide where you want to friggin' hang out, guy. Like, what are you doing? It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he's leveraging one offer against another. Like, that's not even what's going on. Like, just decide. I'm over it.
Yeah, I just want to get the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes over with, so that way we could talk about the rest of the free agents, because there are teams out there there are players out. Pete Alonso hasn't signed. Alex Bregman hasn't signed. There are a lot of players out there that are still waiting to sign with teams, but teams are waiting to see where Roki Sasaki go because of that international signing money, the chance of trading it to either the Dodgers or the Padres. So the teams are getting creative right now, and it's holding up the process. It's January 16th. We're less than like 30 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training. Spring training is right around the corner. I want to shout out Big Ant NYC for the $5 super champ. Big Ant, how you doing, my guy? What's popping, my man Hector and Grace, representing Bayamon, Puerto Rico, Wepa, Bad Bunny, owning for having the #1 song in the world. First of all, that new album from Bad Bunny, Para Tirar Más Foto. If you guys haven't listened to it, please. I've been listening to it at the gym. I am obsessed. That is my new fave right now. But shout out to Big Ant in the chat. Shout out to everybody else. NY Yankee Media says this is the time that the Yankees always get these release players, and for spring training, they get about 8 or 9 guys, and then they go to spring training with them. You're talking about the roster invites and seeing if they have something left. And honestly, I know there's some rumors going around about some players, but for me, Grace, I think it's important that the New York Yankees go into spring training with either a second baseman or a third baseman, whoever it is, because Jazz, you can move them back and forth. We need to have somebody that is MLB serviceable. We can't just have DJ LeMahieu trying to figure out if he's healthy. I love Oswaldo Cabrera, but Oswaldo Cabrera, his best ability is being a bench guy who could come in late game situations, and you could plug him any position on the field. If you make Oswaldo Cabrera an everyday player and remove that ability away from him, you take away what makes Oswaldo Cabrera great, his ability and his versatility to play many positions. So I think it's very important that the Yankees go into the season with a serviceable major league second baseman. And yes, RIP Bob Uecker. Thank you, Nathan, for putting that in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, this is what I've been afraid of for weeks, that they were gonna, man, I hate that I'm in the position now where I'm talking shit about DJ LeMahieu, because that's not how my heart feels about DJ LeMahieu, but here we are. I've been afraid for weeks that they were gonna run DJ LeMahieu out in the starting lineup on opening day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been vocal about this, okay? This is my fear, because he's already paid, because he's a former batting champion and an MVP candidate and all the stuff that the Yankees try to tell us. He can have a bounce back year. He's healthy now, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is my fear. But who are we going to get? What are the options? I don't know. I'm hoping that Cashman will pull a rabbit out of his hat at the 11th hour, and figure something out the way he can do, but it might be after opening day. I just have this feeling that opening day it's going to be DJ LeMahieu. You guys mark this down right now. Grace Monroe said that on opening day it's going to be DJ LeMahieu. I just have a feeling. And it ain't my first rodeo with the New York Yankees. It ain't my first rodeo with Brian Cashman. Now, is he going to be in our starting lineup by the trade deadline? I don't think so. Is he going to be our starting lineup by the end of the year? No. But on opening day, he might be in that starting lineup, y'all. Just, you need to prepare yourselves right now.
I want to highlight a comment. Shout out to Kristen Castillo in the chat who says, you guys are forgiven when it comes for lusting over Arias. All right. We get desperate. I get it. Listen, Christian, we was desperate. All right. We was hearing Luis Arias and it was like, what's going on? We got to figure it out. And I think our desperateness when it comes to that conversation was built on the fact that the Yankees were talking about going into the season with DJ LeMahieu as a possibility, right? And I would take any other player over DJ LeMahieu. Again, this is not let's shit on DJ LeMahieu parade. That's not what I want to have. But reality is DJ LeMahieu is not an everyday major league player anymore. DJ LeMahieu is not a player that can play every day on a team that's trying to compete for a playoff spot. DJ LeMahieu is probably one of the best veterans to have on a young team when you're trying to make sure to the regular baseball everyday ins and out, they can figure it out and learn from a veteran. DJ LeMahieu is a great veteran to learn from. Is he a serviceable major league player on a playoff contending team that could play every day, 162 games? I don't think so. I don't think in this stage of his career, I don't think so. And if he proves me wrong and we got lightning in the bottle, me and Grace would both shut up and we'll start filming the Yankeeography for DJ LeMahieu.
I would literally cry. It was like one of the best moments last year. Like I brought up I don't remember what show it was, but remember when the Blue Jays moved in an outfielder to the infield because DJ was up and it was the bottom of the ninth and he was probably going to hit a ground ball. And anyway, spoiler alert, he did end up hitting a ground ball, but it snuck through the infield and it was a walk-off hit, walk-off single. And I was moved to tears for DJ. But that was a moment. That was a moment that was not sustained through his season. He did not show any signs last year of the former DJ LeMahieu that we wished we could see signs of. We didn't see any signs of that. In fact, all of his numbers were the worst of his career last year. On base percentage, slugging was abysmal. His
fielding, the one thing that people said,
errors in his fielding, which is so uncharacteristic of him.
Yes.
It's bad, y'all. And look, I'm not saying we need to DFA DJ. He's on our payroll. I would not be mad at Cashman for keeping him on the roster as in a bench role for now, right? Maybe, circumstances present themselves and you DFA him later in the season or trade deadline-ish area or somewhere around there. But I wouldn't be mad for them carrying him on the roster as a bench player right now. Late innings, defensive replacement, versatility there, whatever. But a member of the starting lineup, oh gosh, I don't know about that. I would much rather have Oswaldo Cabrera out of his utility role in the starting lineup and have DJ trying to do the utility role than the opposite way.
Yeah, and a lot of Yankee fans, Grace, you bring up Brendan Donovan whenever we talk. My guy Jasson from 161. Brendan Donovan will be an awesome asset if the Yankees were able to trade for him. I'm just not sure if the Cardinals are going to want to get rid of one of the only young, valuable pieces they have. Now, when you look at Brendan Donovan, his age right now, he's 28 years old, so he's not that young in comparison to some of the other prospects that they have. He has, besides this upcoming season, he has 2 arbitration years left. So he literally has 3 more years of control at the cheap. So if the Yankees were to give him up, you're going to have to trade from your prospect pool, and it's going to get steep from it. And that's the one conversation Grace don't like having when it comes to prospects and not trading for a player, because we want to hold on to our prospects. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep on saying this. Prospects, they're just lottery tickets. You just hope that you have the winning ticket, that the numbers is called on the night of the drawing. I would love for all of our prospects to make it to the big league level. Roger Arias, George Lombard, Spencer Jones. I would love for them. But if the Cardinals are serious about trading Brendan Donovan, if you're able to trade for a guy who has 3 years left of controllability, you go out there and you trade for him. If the Yankees are trying to kick the rocks and trade for Ke'Bryan Hayes from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Ke'Bryan Hayes is a phenomenal fielder. Will probably be one of the best fielders that we had at that position when it comes to third base. His bat, he was a 230 hitter last year. He's a career 250 hitter. Right. So if you trade for Ke'Bryan Hayes, you're trading for a guy not for their bat, for their defense. And if you want to treat Ke'Bryan Hayes like a Miguel Cairo, right, you only want him at the bottom of the lineup. You only want him for his defense. I'm all for it, because Ke'Bryan Hayes as well, he has controllability over the next 2 or 3 years at making about $7 million a season, which is on the cheap end. And that's what Brian Cashman likes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what is it you always used to say, Hector? Hug your girlfriend, not your prospect.
Hug your girlfriend, not your prospect. Shout out to the chat. We got over 110 people rocking out with us right now on YouTube. We are sitting at how many on? We are sitting at 80 people watching us on YouTube, and we're at 29 likes. Right? If you guys can, please smack that like button. Let's run the likes up on the stream. Hit that subscribe button. When it comes to subscribers right now, we are sitting at 4,780 subscribers on the channel, on our way to 5K. Shout out to my guy El Don Sicario in the building. All right, our guest just showed up backstage. Our good friend, Mr. Dexter Henry. Let me just set this up. 3-cam layout. Dexter, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out. All right, he's ready to go. Dexter Henry, good morning. How you feeling?
Good morning, Hector. Good morning, Grace. I'm sorry for delay. I had a little issue with my mic I was trying to fix, because I didn't want come on here and sound bad for you guys. Can't have that happen. Hector, good. It's good to see you. Grace, good to see you as well. It's been a while.
I know.
So it's good. It's been a while since Grace has been on me. I so enjoyed Hector. Thank you. I got to thank you for the time Grace came on me. I told you this.
Of course.
Grace was so dope when she came on, and I love the energy from her. So thank you, Grace. You do your thing. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Y'all
Grace is phenomenal. I've been telling Grace. Dexter, first off, love the hat, love the Flatbush hat. Gotta have love for BK. Brooklyn's in the building all day. And then of course, shout out to the chat as well. My girlfriend says the one and only Dexter Henry is in the building.
Alex, how you doing? Long time no see too. Alex, appreciate you. Alex, beautiful spirit. Met her at the studio. So shout out to the girlfriend, Alex. Love her.
Yes. But Dexter, let's get into the conversation. The Roki Sasaki, it's January 16th. It's down to the Dodgers and the Padres. I know the Blue Jays are in there as like the annoying little cousin that has to be involved in the conversation. But what's your thoughts on the whole Roki Sasaki sweepstakes? How's it broken down, rating all the way to January 15th for that extra international signing money? What's your thoughts, Dex?
I was disappointed, because I was hoping that one of the New York teams would be in it here till the end. So I was disappointed with that. I think what a lot of baseball fans are feeling is that, man, it feels like he's going to the Dodgers, right? It just feels like that he's going to the Dodgers. I'm a little shocked at that, because we're not saying that we know this for sure. I'm a little shocked because I thought, I get the proximity to Japan, but I thought at least I can see how the Padres could work for him, but with the Dodgers, you're kind of behind Yamamoto and Ohtani in terms of the pecking order of stardom. I thought he might want to go someplace where he could be on his own. It's been a long time for the Yankees since, Matsui, and for the Mets since they've had a Japanese player. So I thought maybe you might see him want to try the New York market, but yeah, I don't know. My gut just tells me I see this happening for the Dodgers. The rich is getting richer.
Yeah,
It seems like that. Another arm to the Dodgers in his prime. It's just like, man, they're killing it out there. I know you don't want to hear that, Hector, as a Yankee fan, because the Yankee fans are trying to figure out how do we get back to the World Series and beat the Dodgers. And I'm sure we'll get into the Yankees offseason. But yeah, if the Dodgers get him, it's another big feather in their cap. If the Padres get him, it's a great signing for them too. I mean, the Padres need him more. Right? Like the Padres need him more. But and I think that's why you're like, if he goes to the Dodgers, you're like, man, they're already have an embarrassment of riches. So we'll see. Look, he's a talented pitcher. I think he will definitely help a team. There obviously will be that adjustment period as we've seen for these Japanese pitchers coming over. But yeah, this is just disappointing. A New York team, it's like the Yankees aren't in the mix here. Did you guys want him? I know it was unclear if the Yankees would spend to get another starter, but they sounded like they wanted to be in the mix. Did you guys want him on the Yankees roster?
Go ahead, Grace. You could answer first.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody would want him, but we never really thought it was gonna happen. I can speak for our chat and for our channel. Nobody on our channel really thought it was possible. It's been kind of like reading the tea leaves. He was gonna go to the West Coast the whole time, either the Dodgers or the Padres, probably the Dodgers. But yeah, I feel like our hearts were guarded after we got crushed from Yamamoto last year. We thought we were really going to get Yamamoto, Dexter, for real. Like, we were like, oh, he's playing. He's coming here. Like, Cashman went over to Japan so many times. Like, this is just a foregone conclusion. We're going to get Yamamoto. When we didn't, we were devastated. So this time around, we were like, okay, yeah, it'd be cool. But, like, until you show me, we're guarding our hearts,
Yeah.
Right. And somebody had mentioned in the chat that I saw, and that's my bad on that. I forgot about Tanaka. I said Matsui, but I forgot about Tanaka before. Obviously, with the Yankees. I forgot about that. I think one thing in baseball, to Grace's point, and Grace is right, like, a lot of fans, whether it was the Yankees fans that got their hopes up with Yamamoto, I would like to see in the future, as we get obviously love seeing more international players in the game, or Japanese players in the game. I think it's beautiful. I would like to see some of them on the bigger stars on these East Coast teams. You'd like to see them with the Yankees and the Mets and the Red Sox, and you'd like to see that. It seems like a lot are out in the West right now, and we'll see how that changes.
For me, I see the argument, Dexter, but for me, I look at it as us New Yorkers, right, and just like us in the West in general, we think we're the main character of the story. We think we're central. We think we're the most important figure in the world. But when you look at these Japanese players, they're going to be able to get the same amount of money off the field with the Dodgers that they can with any of the teams that are on the East Coast. And you got to ask them, it's a comfortability point of it. Grace brought it up. If you're traveling from Japan to the West Coast, like to California, to LA, or to San Diego, the difference from New York to Japan versus California and Japan, it's an 8 to 9 hour difference. So if you're a player, you got to ask yourself, I know I'm getting paid millions of dollars. And if I get paid millions of dollars, I could cut out 8 or 9 hours out of a trip going back home to Japan. So that has to factor in as well. You put on top of it how deeply the Dodgers are in when it comes to the Japanese market in Japan as well. I talked about on the Netflix show, one of my favorite show, Ultraman. They had a new season that came out, and the star player Ultraman was a Dodgers player, right? So I'm like, they're doing this on purpose. Like, this is not by mistake. They're doing this on purpose. It's all coordinated efforts. And the Dodgers came out yesterday or the day before saying that they're looking to go to a 6-man rotation to cater to the Japanese pitchers. So I think that's the Dodgers with a big ass sign saying, please come sign with us. We're just trying to get richer. And now you got reports that both the Dodgers and Padres are calling up teams trying to trade for international signing money.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to get in that game now, right? Like, this is the game. You're right. These are all great points, Hector. This is the game you're playing. It's a different time. You're going to have to play the game differently. And I think for all of us, it doesn't matter what you do for work. You do care about comfortability, right? And so for some of these guys, like you said, the trip being shorter, bringing their families over, that stuff matters. And it's going to be attractive to them, teams that cater to their culture. I think one of the hardest things that sometimes doesn't get talked about in sports is it is hard to come and play in a foreign country where you don't know anybody. You might not know the language. You don't know the layout. Like, listen, it's hard for any of us to just move to another state, right? If you don't have any people, any friends, you don't know the culture of the job, that is an adjustment. And then imagine you have a language barrier there too, right? You'll have all the support in the world and the staff and the interpreters and all that stuff, but it's still, that's different. That's not even something I've experienced, right? And I can only imagine how challenging it is. So I think you want to be as comfortable as you are in any work situation you have. So I understand the Japanese players, they got to go for the best situation for them. And the Dodgers, to your point, Hector, they're trying to cater to that. And I think other teams are going to have to try to do things to make things more attractive if you want to be able to sign some of these Japanese stars moving down the road.
I heard something else about how I'm not great at math, but something about how in Japan, because of the time difference, if the games are on the West Coast, their family and friends can still watch the games.
Yeah.
It's either late at night or early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning. But if they're on the East Coast, they can't really watch the games because they're like when everybody's asleep. So that affects their money too. That affects their endorsements. If their endorsement placement is not able to watch the games, their kind of constituency for their, people who buy their product can't watch the games, then that affects his money, that affects his family, that affects his friends, that affects his fans that he already has in Japan. So how can the Yankees and Mets, but more importantly the Yankees, conquer this? I said that for Dexter.
What a shot, Grace.
Yeah, sorry. But how can we conquer this going forward? How can we lure a future Japanese star to come to the East Coast? Like, that is a problem that we have to fix now because the league is going to pass us by and it's not good.
I think it's a great question. Grace, because but what I believe in this, and I think you guys will rock with me on this, and I think Hector's somebody who's come on and talk to me about this. Hector, as I know, as a Yankee fan and content creator, has been extremely rational about a lot of this stuff around the Yankees and saying that it's a new day in baseball. I think Hector is one of the people I've talked to that understands this isn't 1996 anymore, and that the Yankees have to operate differently and do things differently. And we all have to do this in all aspects of life and things and evolve, and we hope we evolve. We hope we're growing. I think the Yankees, there's a lot to be learned from this offseason. I'm sure we'll get into it. Not just to solely focus in on Juan Soto, but into how you have to pivot and do things differently. I think what will take care of things for the Yankees, to answer your question, Grace, in attracting the Japanese stars is winning, right? If the Yankees are back to winning championships, the Yankees brand is still very strong. It is still very well known worldwide. You see,
some might say the strongest in all sports, but go on.
I would agree. No, I would agree. When you travel, when you go different places abroad, no matter where you go, you will see a Yankees hat. The Yankees hat is iconic. People know it all over the world. Again, for folks, if you travel different places, be honest, you've seen a Yankees hat everywhere. From people who don't even know things about the Yankees.
Right.
Okay? The Yankees are a very strong brand. They're right up there worldwide, I would say, with like Manchester United in soccer. That's right up there as like these very iconic brands. Now, Manchester United and the Yankees have a couple things in common, and that recently they have not been winning in the way that they used to, and they have to change some things in that. I do think winning cures all. I think getting back to it, and I think the Yankees are in an adjustment period. And I actually think, and we'll get into this, I think they adjusted actually pretty well this offseason in a way that I think Yankee fans should be excited about. Even for those who've killed Brian Cashman over the years. To me, not so fairly, but I think that is. I think if they get, it might be it's a lesser Japanese star, right, that isn't as high profile, but comes here and is a part of winning. I think that changes everything. Because it's been a while since Matsui. It's been a while since Tanaka. And I think if you win and get those guys in here, and it's part of that iconic Yankees brand. And I'll add one thing, too. If the Yankees also can have a Japanese star to is great and gets his number retired, or somehow in Monument Park, that then adds to another level of the lore with the brand, right? I think that matters too. I've heard some people say this, don't agree with them. The Yankees brand isn't dead. The Yankees brand is strong. Now, is it you can argue it's maybe not as strong as it once was because of the lack of winning in the last 14 to 15 years. Also, you know what? It's hard to win, man. It's really hard to win. I think people sometimes don't talk about this enough in sports. It's hard to win championships. Nobody's sustaining greatness. You're not going to see what the Celtics did in basketball in the 50s and 60s. Like,
no,
that's not happening.
Or what the Yankees did in the 50s. You're not going to see that again in baseball. It's that because so much teams now are more competitive. The competitive balance, it's way more than what it was back then. Even in the late 90s when it comes to the dynasty teams, and now with the extra wild card team, any team can get hot, and at any moment we've seen it in baseball. They could go on a magical run to take them to the World Series. I want to highlight a few chats real quick before we continue. I'll throw it over to Grace because I know she has a great topic to talk about when it comes to Scott Boras and Pete Alonso. But my guy Jay Boogie in the chat. Jay Boogie, good morning. Good morning. 3 capital S's, blessings, health, life, and happiness. Mr. Henry is in the building. Please, major home run, smack that like button. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie is the GOAT, is the legend. He's going to start dropping some shorts here on the channel over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you guys tune in. And of course, Dexter, Jay Boogie's like, I got to get Dexter Henry in the video. I got to get Dexter Henry on the track. So we got to make that happen. Jay
Boogie, and I it's funny. I talked to Jay Boogie because we were supposed to talk in the new year. And Jay Boogie and I have to connect. Jay Boogie, I forget you. We're going to talk later this month. Because I was talking to Jay Boogie about some stuff and getting him involved in some content. And I want to see Jay Boogie get involved in some more stuff. So shout out to Jay Boogie.
Yeah, definitely. And then I got one more, Big Ant NYC with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on, and thank you for helping me buy anime subscription. But Big Ant NYC says, what's your thoughts about the Yankees getting Ozzie Albies from the Braves? If Bregman goes to the Cubs, that can help the Yankees land Nico Horner, maybe, possible, question mark. Dex, I'll throw it over to you. What's your thoughts on the whole Ozzie Albies rumbles from the from the Braves?
Yeah, I've heard some of that, and I'm almost like, damn, why the Braves traded him? Like, are they really gonna go this? Like, the Braves sometimes make some shocking moves, though. So I was about to catch myself and say, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Listen, I think he's a fantastic player. Would he help the Yankees? Absolutely. I'd be stunned to see the Braves move on from him right now. And I'm thinking about for the Yankees, obviously right now, I think the big concern is like, can they shore up third base? And this is what they want to do. I think Bregman's the first domino is going to fall. So Big Ant, I see the question you're asking there. If he falls, the Yankees could go after Herner. I could see that happening. The Yankees third base situation. Third base is the really interesting. Third base and then first base and what happens with Pete Alonso, the real, I think, next dominoes to fall in baseball. That Bregman and Alonso, I think those are the things that are going to open up the market. How they do this as they get closer to spring training, I think is really interesting. I keep forgetting spring pitchers and catchers report in like a month. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, Ozzie would be a great fit for the Yankees. I'm just not. I need to see more about how this market opens up with some other players first before I know how real that noise is. That's what I say.
For me, when it comes to Albies, he's a switch hitter. I know the one critique, and I know my guy Ghost was bringing it up when he was talking about it on TikTok last night, was that he can't stay healthy. That's the one thing with Ozzie Albies is the health concern. And on a team like the New York Yankees, that we already have injury concerns when it comes to Giancarlo Stanton, when it comes to some of my pitching staff. So do you want to add another player that's going to have injury concerns or injury question marks in Ozzie Albies? When it comes to his defense, he's a very serviceable, solid glove, solid defender at that position. He's a switch hitter. When you look at all 27 championships from the New York Yankees, we've had at least 1 to 2 switch hitters in the lineup. And that's what the New York Yankees have to get back to, having more switch hitters in the lineup, not necessarily righty lefties, but having switch hitters to give out the balance and to make it just a little bit more difficult. Like I said, you look back at every championship, we've had at least 1 or 2 different switch hitters. Grace, I'll toss it over to you to lead the conversation when it comes to your favorite person in the world, Mr. Scott Boras.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jasson Dominguez, who's a switch hitter, by the way, and so's Oswaldo Cabrera. So anyway, my boys, so we're talking about, we were talking about Alonso, right? What is going on with Pete Alonso? What is the holdup here? It seems like from the outside, from a non-Mets fan perspective, that it's a perfect fit for him to go back to the Mets. Why hasn't that deal been done? And then we were talking about Alex Bregman. Where is he going to land? Now his bridge has been burned with the Astros. They got somebody, they moved on. So where is Bregman going to go? Why hasn't he signed? He is a multi-world champion, huge, amazing pedigree guy. So what do these two guys have in common? Let me think. Oh, it's Scott Boras. What is going on with Scott Boras and his clients? Y'all, I made a quick, go with me, little list here, okay? Number one of Scott Boras's clients at the beginning of this offseason, he goes by the name of Garrett Daddy Cole. He opts out of his contract with the Yankees. Then the Yankees go, what are you doing? We're not going to, and he goes, oh, just kidding. Never mind.
Sorry, take backs.
Never mind on the opt-out. Okay, that was a Boras client. That was a fail. I'm going to say that was a fail. A win for me because I love Garrett Cole and I want him to be a Yankee, but fail for Scott Boras and his client. Number two, you got Blake Snell, who ended up going to the Dodgers for a team-friendly deferred money contract. That is a fail to me for your client. Now, I know maybe he wants to be there. He's excited, but money-wise, that's a little bit of a fail. Corbin Burns, another Scott Boras client. He ends up signing a team-friendly deal with Arizona, leaves money on the table, going to the Diamondbacks. That's going to be a fail to me. Now you've got Soto. I could have gotten Soto an $800 million contract, okay? So, yeah, congratulations. Like, anybody could have done that. Bregman and Alonso, what's going to happen? This offseason for Scott Boras, to me, does not look good. And
Grace,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's not just this offseason, right?
Yeah, yes.
You go back to last offseason, Jordan Montgomery. You go back to a couple off seasons ago with Michael Conforto.
Yes.
I think everything that list that you put together, really good list, just this offseason. The recent stuff matters. What you're saying in all of that, and I know, I want to be very clear. I understood what Grace is saying, that, and this will bring my point. Grace wasn't saying that I could be an agent and just negotiate Juan Soto's deal. What you're saying is everybody knew what the market was for that man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it wasn't the same legwork for that. And to that point, it appears to me, this is how it looks to me, Scott Boras is not reading the market right for his client as an agent in anything, whether it's for players, whether it's for even like what I do, like on-air talent. The job of your agent is to know the temperature of what's going around. And when it comes to negotiating pay and things like that, they're supposed to know that. They're supposed to be talking to these different people and saying this is what's going on. What I feel, the MO on Scott Boras, and this kind of is the theme for us, right? Everything is not the same as it was back in the day.
Period. Keep going.
Say it was this. Scott Boras was the guy you went to, you signed with if you had the talent, and he's going to get you the top dollar. That was the thing, right? Lately, outside of Juan Soto, and there might be some other players I'm kind of forgetting here that at the top that got maybe the contracts you thought they were going to get, he's not getting guys the top dollar, particularly, I would say, the fringe guys. I think the market has recorrected itself in baseball where GMs are looking at this and saying, I'm not going to pay this for this guy. Let's just take Pete Alonso with the Mets. Let's just go there. And Bregman kind of falls in this category as well, too. People are not willing to pay a certain price for everyday players over 30, right? Particularly in the Pete Alonso case, that might be a little bit one-dimensional. Mets fans who might be watching this, I know you like Pete. Pete's a homegrown guy. LFGM, all this stuff. You like all that stuff, but you got to keep it real. The last couple of years of him betting on himself when the Mets did offer him a deal hasn't worked out. His average has gone down. Slugging percentage has gone down. Home runs also have gone down, right? And his strikeouts have gone up. Scott Boras has to look at that and say, hey, man, your numbers are not commiserate with what you think you might get. It's nice. You might want a whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? It's nice, but that doesn't mean that's what you're going to get. And he gets to say, okay, this is what it is. Now, we've seen guys the last couple of years. Jordan Montgomery is a perfect example. Has to end up taking the deal that he did last year. What did he do immediately after that? He got rid of Scott Boras. That is the telling sign to me, Miss Grace Monroe here, that clients, even if they get the deals they didn't get, or it's not about them not getting the money they thought. It's that they didn't get what they thought they could get in the market, or did you not get the best deal for them in the market? Because the later things go on, we are now in January. I just talked about how we're a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. We're now here. The market's getting tougher. And that's why you saw the news reported by my colleagues, John Heyman and Joel Sherman yesterday, about the Mets sort of saying like, we need to try to wrap this up really quick. They haven't set a firm deadline, but they're saying we want to wrap things up because we have other business we want to take care of to know our roster is in order by the time we get to spring training. You're going to see the same. The Mets are not the only people. You're going to see the same thing with other players. So what that tells you, the teams and the GMs, they understand the market, and they're saying they're going to use a little bit of leverage they have, which right now is time. Because someone like Pete Alonso, Bregman, they want to be signed now. They don't want to sign at the beginning of February.
And
they
that's
want to
the
let
problem.
their family. Right. Where's my family going to be? Yeah,
he's overplaying his hand. He is standing there on stalemate like, well, we're just going to wait. No, you are doing that at the detriment of your players and at the detriment of the teams that they eventually sign with.
And how has this worked out for him recently?
Exactly, Dexter. And after this pattern has been established, like you said with the people you brought up that signed last year and the year before that, what happened to the teams? Now, as a team GM, and I'm looking at this pattern, why am I going to believe that if I sign a Scott Boras client at the last minute, that it's going to turn out better for me than it did for the Giants with Blake Snell or, whoever? Like, it's not. So now I am, as a team GM, I am reticent to sign this guy with Scott Boras even more. And Scott Boras thinks if we wait, we're going to get what we want. It's the opposite. He's misreading the market. I think the Mets are doing it perfect right now. Alonso doesn't have any other offers. Incredibly. I don't know why. But he doesn't have any other offers on the table that I'm aware of, places that he wants to go. He wants to be a Met. But the Mets are saying, dude, we gave you a fair offer. This is our offer. Take it or leave it. Figure it out. And Scott Boras is saying, well, we're going to wait it out. We're going to force them. No, you're not. You're not. You're only hurting your client.
And the issue is, I just want to say this real quick, and I'll throw it to Dex, is when you look at Scott Boras over the past 30 years, right, his big-time free agents he had, A-Rod, you could throw Juan Soto in there, Carlos Beltran as well, was represented by Scott Boras. They all signed at the winter meetings. They didn't sign late January, going into February. So you cannot treat your B tier or your C tier clients like they're A tier clients, right? No disrespect to Pete Alonso, no disrespect to Blake Snell. They're phenomenal Major League Baseball players. They aren't on the same level that Juan Soto is. They aren't on the same level of Alex Rodriguez. Right. That's why Scott Boras, when it comes to getting the massive historic contract, Scott Boras has that under his resume. He has that with A-Rod. He has that with Juan Soto. But when it comes to your other clients, your B tiers, your C tiers, you have done them dirty. Look at, you brought up Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto didn't sign until the season was playing. That really hurt Conforto because he was attached to a qualifying offer and you kept asking for just too much money. And it's the same thing with Blake Snell. The same thing with Jordan Montgomery. That's why Jordan Montgomery decided, I don't want you as my agent anymore. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna go get somebody else. Hold on one second. Mr. Highlander, shout out to Graham, who said that he went to go watch games at the Polo Grounds. My man Graham have seen some history. My fault about that, Dex. Go ahead.
No, oh, good. No, I love that you brought up the tiers of clients because that matters, right? And you, back in the day, and I feel like sounding old saying this, Scott Boras could get a B client paid, like overpaid. But I think what has happened is, and this is just always market correction, teams are I think teams and scouting are better at identifying the tiers of these clients and are not willing to overpay to get somebody in who's a B client. And especially, as I said, age matters too. Juan Soto got the bag he got and was getting, and came down between the Mets and Yankees because of how young he is, because he's in his prime at 26. and he's a generational talent that he's proven he's done it on the big stage. He's won a World Series. He's been to another World Series with the Yankees. Completely different, right? Than we're talking about with Pete Alonso. This, and like you said, Hector, this is no shade to Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso is a good player. Pete Alonso, the biggest hit of his career came in the Milwaukee series this year. He is not Juan Soto. They are not the same caliber of player. But if you're telling people and banking on your past and saying, well, I used to get the B players played or the couple of time All-Stars paid, couple of time All-Star, generational talent, two different things.
Yeah.
I think in today's age of baseball, you can't get the B guy paid like the A guy like you used to. That can happen. I think a good example, a guy who was a couple time All-Star, the Yankees signed, wasn't Jasson Giambi a Scott Boras client? I believe he was, right?
Jasson Giambi was a Scott Boras client coming off of an MVP season, an amazing season, and then what happens?
But was he? And he came off an MVP season, but I still think people would have said he's a B plus player, probably a B plus player at the time. I would say, right? He was not A-Rod, who's a generational talent. Like, sorry how you feel about A-Rod. He was not that.
Yeah, Giambi was a late bloomer that had 3 phenomenal seasons with Oakland before he hit free agency, and that's what helped him.
Yeah, and that helped him. And people are wary of that stuff now. That's my point. Teams are wary of that, and so they don't want to get burned in that way.
Yeah,
and so I think Scott Boras has not. It's his job, though. This is what Grace is saying.
I was about to say it's his job
is to be on the phone, to talk to different, Gage, hey, what would you be willing to pay for Pete Alonso? Now, if they tell you, hey, the most we're willing to do is 5 years, $150 million, and you're telling your client, this is Grace's point, in a nutshell, I can get you more, though, because I'm Scott Boras. That's your ego getting involved there. You're doing a disservice to your client. Now, I don't know Scott Boras. I'm making some assumptions there, but it appears like this is what's happening. I think the bottom line is he is misreading the market. This isn't just about Pete Alonso. He's done this for multiple clients now, and there's a track record for years, and the proof is in the pudding, and I wonder how this affects him signing other players. Because if I'm a player, if I'm the next generational talent that's coming up, right, or looking for, do I want to sign with him right now?
Nope.
I wouldn't.
No, and like you said, it's market correction. It's the market correcting itself, and I've been saying this for a while. The reason why baseball goes through these things, right? You see a lot of players getting paid, and then a player goes into free agency. They get a contract that they don't necessarily are supposed to get, and then the teams try to course correct it, right? When I look back over the past 15 years, I always bring up this player, Jason Worth. When Jason Worth was a free agent, he was the #1 free agent that was out there because the free agent class was dead. He got a massive contract from the Nationals. And what happened? Teams started pulling back money and started trying to correct the market. And who was his agent? Who was Jason Worth's agent? Scott bleeping Boras. Scott Boras was his agent who was able to get him paid. So shout out to Scott Boras, because like you said, Dex, like you said, Grace, this is his job. This is what he's supposed to do. So we got a super chat that I want to bring up before we switch topics real quick. My guy Chris, and shout out to everybody in the building. We got 140 people rocking out with us, over 100 on YouTube. If you guys can, please smack that like button. My guy Chris K with the $5 super chat. Question for Dexter. First of all, Chris, put a t-shirt on. You always intimidate me with your profile pic. I look at you and I feel I gotta just bust out some push-ups.
Chris is out here.
Shout out to my guy Chris K. No, I love my guy Chris. Chris says, question for Dexter: which NY team wins a championship first? The Yankees, the Knicks. I'm gonna throw the Mets in there also, just because why not? Yankees, Knicks, or Mets?
I'm going Knicks. Knicks. I think the Knicks, outside of the Liberty repeating again, which I think is very possible, they're the closest to winning the championship. I'm gonna go Knicks, which I think would have been crazy. I think if you asked somebody this 5 years ago, they'd have been like, "What?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Knicks.
Wow.
I don't think the Yankees and Mets are maybe as far off as some people may think. I think they're pretty close too. I mean, listen, the Yankees won the World Series last year. I think the Yankees had a good offseason, despite what some people may think of them losing Juan Soto. And the Mets obviously had a big offseason with Juan Soto. I think they still have some more work to do. But I'm going to go Knicks. I think the Knicks. could get it done maybe the next 2 years. I think
I'm slowly converting Grace into a Knicks fan, right? So she has a Stephon Marbury jersey that's headed to our house right now. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to my guy Old Sarge in the building, Eric Wallace as well. Dex, just want to respect your time. We got a couple more topics. You cool to rock out with first?
Yeah, I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Copy. So we want to talk about the Yankees offseason, right? We big ticket items. We got Cody Bellinger, we got Max Fried, and we got Devin Williams. Dex, I want to toss it to you. Get your take on the Yankees offseason. You touched about it earlier, how the Yankees pivoted solid off of losing Juan Soto, and then kick it over to Grace, and we'll get our full take in the conversation.
I love how the Yankees pivoted. I talked to you, Hector. Hector was on with me the night that the Juan Soto signing with the Mets went down from the winter meetings. Hector did a great job out there providing the coverage he does for LATINO sports. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on me in that time. That was a crazy night in a lot of ways. I think the Yankees did a fantastic job here. Listen, Max Fried, would I probably have liked a little less years considering his age if I was running the team? Yeah, but the market is what the market is, and the price is what you got to pay sometimes to get somebody in there. And I think the Yankees, the first step they did was saying, okay, we lost a generational talent in the outfield. We need to bolster our pitching rotation. They focused on pitching first, which is always interesting. Then the Devin Williams trade, which I loved. I think that was great. All the Yankee fans know, and every Yankee fan I talked to, and I think, Grace, you came on me once, and you had your concerns about the back end of the bullpen, and you were done with Clay Holmes, and you didn't, and Yankee fans didn't want to see it anymore.
That doesn't even sound like me.
And I understood that, and I think the Yankees took a look at where their weaknesses were. It was like, okay, one, Garrett Cole needs some help in this starting rotation. Two, we got to shore up the back end of the bullpen. I love that they fixed that first. We knew what the issues were in terms of them trying to upgrade at first base. I think Bellinger was a good fit. I think the trade was fine in what they had to give up. I don't think that the Devin Williams trade, I think that was fine. Now I think the last piece for the Yankees is like, okay, what's the plan? What are you doing with second and third base? Are you playing Jazz? Can you move them over to second? Can you get a third baseman? I actually think the Yankees are going to be fine in the outfield more than some people think, and that might be my optimism on your boy, Grace, Jasson Dominguez. I'm a little optimistic about him too. Now he's got to come back and be healthy, but I think he's great talent. Big Ed, I see your comment. I actually do agree with you on MLB needing to eliminate the qualifying offer. Yeah. I do think that does affect the market. I think that's a fantastic point. I do agree with you on that. But yeah, I think the Yankees offseason it's been fine, right? Like they addressed everybody who says pitching and defense wins championship. Well, the Yankees went out and addressed pitching. They had to get more depth out of their starting pitchers. I know the game is different, but you got to have another guy in the playoffs that you trust is going to go 6 innings, right? And I think the Yankees have 2 of those guys now that you can trust. A good 1-2. The rotation got better. I guess my question, even if you're a Yankee fan that feels bad about Soto, the question I would ask is, why would you not believe that the Yankees are still not the best team in the American League? Like, has anybody surpassed them? I don't really think so, personally. True. I don't see why
everybody's going to the NL.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movement. Good point, Grace. And I don't see a team that made a move that was like, oh man, they're better than the Yankees. The core of this team is still here. I think, I'm a big continuity guy, Hector. I think that matters too. Look, would it have been nice to bring Soto back? No, he went across town. I know it pains some Yankee fans. I know some Yankee fans want to act like it doesn't matter. It matters, but it wasn't a death blow to the Yankees. I do not think that for one bit. Is it a win for the Mets? Yeah, absolutely, it's a win for the Mets. Is it going to cripple the Yankees franchise? No. And Brian Cashman, I think, who has been much maligned because, and somewhat unfairly, because winning is hard and people have to assign blame. Brian Cashman's issue to me before was that going back to 2016 and 2017, the baby Yanks didn't work out. Yeah. Players didn't hit. Literally did not hit for them as prospects coming up, pretty much outside of Aaron Judge. Look, sometimes that's going to happen in baseball. You bank on a group of prospects. You hope half of them hit. The Yankees hit rate only really was 1. That was a problem. But you can't blame the Yankees at that time for having trying to go towards a youth movement, right? I don't blame them for doing that. I think now they're trying to have a balance where it's like, can you have a guy like Dominguez? Can you mix it with a free agent signing? You made a trade for Bellinger. Are these guys that fit? Would I like another switch hitter too, Hector, that you mentioned? Yes. I think that would be great for the Yankees to have as well too. But I think this Yankees offseason has actually been good. If I had to grade it, I could actually give them an A. I think it's been a good offseason. I think they addressed needs. I think Cashman was quick, which I think actually mattered a little bit. Not that speed. Cashman was like, look, we need to fill these holes. We need to plug it now. We cannot have the stench, I will say, of losing Juan Soto hanging over us this entire offseason. We're not trying to sit around and negotiate with Scott Boras anymore. So we need to like move on to other people that we can get and fit in here. So yeah, I think the Yankees did fine. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I think the Yankees actually did fine here. And I think the Yankees, look, there's pressure on the Yankees to win the next World Series, but I think they have a good shot as anybody to get back to the Fall Classic and win it because they've upgraded their starting pitching.
I want to shout out again, Big Ant. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I agree with you as well, just like Dex said. Kenneth Taylor says, "What is up, chat? I just subscribed to the channel. I love all the content that you guys put out there. I watch it all the time to find out about the Yankees. Keep up the good work, you and Grace." Shout out to you, Kenneth Taylor. Thank you for finding us. Like always, we got over 150 people in the building rocking out with us. 130 on YouTube. If you guys can, smack that like button. We're sitting on 63 likes. We're trying to run it up to 100 on the live stream. Grace, I'll toss it over to you to get your take on the conversation.
I think the offseason has been great in a lot of ways because we went to the World Series. We got embarrassed. We got absolutely embarrassed by our defense. Okay. So if you look at our outfield defense, we've improved massively. If you look at our infield defense, we've improved massively. Even though we don't know who's going to play second base, we've still improved. If you look at our rotation, we've improved massively. If you look at our bullpen, we've improved massively. So I just named, 4 or 5 different categories in which Brian Cashman has massively improved, and he's not done yet. So I'm going to give the Yankees an incomplete grade, but I'm leaning toward like a B+, because I think we need one more stick. Unfortunately, I don't know where it's going to come from because it's really not out there. I wanted Willy Adames, but, he went so fast. He went before Juan Soto. Good for him, great job, but I wanted you and I'll never get over it. But anyway, I think if we had the team we had right now, we went to the World Series against the Dodgers and they were healthy and we were healthy, and Aaron Judge hits, we take that series to 7 games and we might just win the World Series. Okay. Yeah. Now, if we add another stick, if we go over the top, Jasson Dominguez comes out and has an incredible Rookie of the Year type season, of course, then our chances are even better, right? But I still think we're the best team in the American League. We've improved massively on defense. And we're still projected for the most home runs in the American League. We're still projected for the highest octane offense in the American League, even with losing Juan Soto, which, let's be honest, Juan Soto wasn't a perfect fit on our team. Judge had to go play center where he wasn't a highly defensive graded player. I know he's great. We're not saying anything bad about Aaron Judge. Okay, we're not saying anything bad about Aaron Judge, but he is a right fielder, okay? So he moved over there to accommodate Juan Soto. It wasn't a perfect fit. Our outfield was then clogged because we had Jasson Dominguez coming up. What's going to happen if/when Spencer Jones comes up? It wasn't a perfect fit. We tried to make it work. We wanted him back. It didn't happen. But let's say the team is better now overall than it was last year. So I'm happy. I'm going to give it a slight incomplete, but B+.
All right. That's a solid take. For me, I would have to give it a B+++. The only reason that I separate myself with the B and not the A like you, Dexter, is I don't think that the Yankees can go into the season with DJ LeMahieu or Oswaldo Cabrera as the answer for second base or third base. You cannot go into the season with that. To me, I think that's negligence from the front office, thinking that you could maybe find lightning in a bottle from DJ LeMahieu. I love Oswaldo Cabrera. I'm not saying Oswaldo Cabrera can't do the job, But to me, Oswaldo Cabrera, his best ability is the fact that he could play multiple positions at any time. So if you stick him at one spot for 160 or 150 games, how many games he played there, you're taking away what makes him best. And what makes him best is the fact that in late game situations, if you pinch run for somebody, you can put him back to play defense. Or if you have to move people around, you have Oswaldo Cabrera to do that, to come off of your bench. I just think that if you stick him at one position, you take away what makes him so valuable. And what makes him valuable is his versatility. I tell him all the time when I see him, you're the Swiss Army man for the New York Yankees, Oswaldo. That's my guy. Kristen said it right here perfectly. The Yankees' young core is the key to this roster. We need Volpe, we need Dominguez, Wells, and Jazz to perform to get us to the deadline to see if we can add a piece for a stretch run. And when you look at a player like Brian Hayes, that's the new name that Yankee fans have been throwing out because he has requested a trade from the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? Shout out to Keith McPherson, because Keith McPherson talked about it on the show last night. Keith said, last time I saw Charlie Hayes, he was citizen legend watching Brian play for Pittsburgh on his phone. Would you want to see a trade for his son to play third base for the Yankees? I'm down, run it. And I'm all for it because when you look at what Brian Cashman has done this offseason, philosophy-wise, pitching and defense, you get Brian Hayes, you're not getting him for his bat, you're getting him for his solid defense. You could take him, make him your third baseman, put Jazz as your second baseman, and then the bottom four of your lineup will be Volpe, Austin Wells, Jasson Dominguez, and then Brian Hayes. I think that's a solid bottom part of the lineup. The last four batters you have to face are those four guys. I think that's a solid addition to the top part of the lineup, if you understand what I'm saying, Dex.
No, I wanted to, because I feel like Christian's point that he made ties very well with what Gray said here, in that I do agree that the young core is the key. I think Yankee fans need to be patient with this core. I think some Yankee fans.
We're great at that.
Well, yeah, you're great at that. Yeah, Yankee fans are great at that. New Yorkers are great at this too. I think Volpe is a player who I've been fine with how he's developed. I think some Yankee fans have been impatient with him. I think you got to be patient with Dominguez, who has talent I like. Actually, Hector, I remember the first time you and I met in person. I think we were at a Yankee game, and then Dominguez homered. He got hurt right after that.
Yeah.
Dominguez homered in that game a couple years ago. And I'm a huge Jazz Chisholm fan. I remember I talked to Hector was on me the day that trade went down. I love that trade.
Same.
I think he should be moved to second. I think that's the best position for him to play. I like Jazz's energy. And I think what we're all talking about, if you get a guy like Brian Hayes, I think you're getting to the point that this is not where the spoiled Yankee fan thinks. They're always like, we got to get a big name. We got to get this big bopper in here. And I think it's about getting back to finding the right pieces that work for you, particularly in postseason baseball. Brian Hayes feels like that kind of guy that can work with Gold Glove third baseman, can hit. He has the bottom of the order, not a lot of pressure, knows his role, can fit in with the team, keep things moving in the lineup. I like the thinking for that kind of guy to plug in at third. He's not going to mess things up. That's the kind of guy. You don't always have to go for the big name, but does he fit into what the Yankees are trying to build here, particularly around Aaron Judge? And the other thing I want to say with Christian's point, yes, the Yankees could also add a piece at the deadline, which is something the team, right? You don't have to have the perfect roster on opening day. I think there's a tendency to want that all the time. So it's about the growth, and then can you add a piece? The other thing I think people sometimes, and Grace I think was hitting on this, and why she feels so good about the season coming up, internal development, man. Like that happens sometimes and helps. Like just guys getting, 5% better. If Volpe is 5 to 10% better than what he was last year, that's huge for this team. If Dominguez has a rookie of the year type campaign, you're getting good production out of him as a rookie, that's huge for this team, right? If Jazz Chisholm now in a first full spring training with the Yankees and comfortable in pinstripes and everything, that's also good. Somebody said Scott Brocious coming in, an addition in the season that helped the Yankees. These things could happen. And I think that the Yankees' internal development can be really good. And, I think that'll be key with the Yankees season more than anything. I think how they develop in some of the internal development, some of the call-ups. Is Austin Wells. Austin Wells is another guy I love to be.
There you go, Dexter. I was about to bring him up. Go ahead.
Austin Wells, who I liked what I saw from Austin Wells last year. He's has good command with the pitching staff. Does he get better as a hitter? He's now going to see more bats. How is he in clutch situations? He looked fine in 5 spot last year. So I think these things can happen. I think sometimes we're like, oh, this is what this guy did last year on the back of his baseball card. Even though people don't look at baseball cards anymore, but you get my point. Guys can improve and should improve with the right culture and development.
Yeah.
And if you believe in the Yankees culture and development, then that can happen.
Yeah, definitely. What's your thoughts, Grace?
I think Austin Wells is going to have an incredible year. Obviously, he had an amazing season last year, even though he wasn't a starting catcher. People don't even remember this.
Mm-hmm.
He was not the starting catcher until halfway through the season when Trevino got that injury, and he had to step in and step up. He had such horrible luck. He was grading as, I can't remember that one stat that was like, just saying that he had bad luck with his spins.
Oh, yeah.
What's that stat? Anyway, I can't remember. But he ended up hitting cleanup for a while for the New York Yankees. He was a Rookie of the Year finalist. He was I think he ended up with the best catcher in the American League, even better than the Orioles guy.
Rushman.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say Rothschild. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, I mean, his bat is what propelled him through the minor leagues. And when he came up, everyone said, oh, Austin Wells is going to hit. It's going to be one of the best hitters. Not sure about his defense. Well, when he came up and he actually earned the starting job, his defense is what we were all like, oh my God, he's incredible. And his bat was fine. But the bat, I think, is going to take the next step this year. He's going to have an incredible sophomore year. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Austin Wells puts together as the starting catcher for the year. He's starting the season knowing I'm the guy. This is my pitching staff. This is my team. This is my dish. I'm back here. This is my time. And I think he's going to step into it and be incredible this year. Also, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is going to have a monster year this year. I think he's going to steal 30 bags easy. He's going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to his season. Jasson Dominguez, obviously, that's my boy, okay? I believe in him like he's my little nephew or something, okay? I swear to God, he's going... Y'all are forgetting about the Martian and what he's going to be doing. I've been watching his workout videos. He is packing it. Y'all, he is so good. His on-base percentage alone is going to shock the world, okay? His eye at the plate, his discipline, his
do you have? Is he a
ability.
leadoff hitter? Is he a leadoff hitter?
He's
Grace? Do you
my
think he
leadoff
leads
hitter.
off
Yes.
at some point in the season?
Yes, he is my leadoff hitter because he can steal bags. He's smart, and his on-base percentage is going to be one of the highest on the team. Obviously, Aaron Judge is going to have the highest on-base percentage of the team. But besides that, if we can just get to the postseason, we can get Big G feeling the mojo again, and we can get Aaron Judge to hit, y'all. We are in a perfect position. The American League is weak. Let's go do it. Man, when's baseball starting?
No, but it's right around the corner, like Dexter said. It's January 16th right now. And pitchers and catchers are right there. I plan on being down there in spring training for that first week as well. I just look forward to this baseball season. I just want this to come as soon as possible. Shout out to the chat also. Last topic, and then we'll end the show because I know Dexter has a life that he has to go to. But with the Yankees losing out Juan Soto to the New York Mets, Yankee fans, I want to ask you guys, when Juan Soto comes back to the stadium, how are we treating him? Right, this is a message from Juan Soto when he signed to the with the Mets to Yankee fans. I want to say thank you. They really showed me all the love and everything that they have. They have a spot in my heart. So Yankee fans, let me know in the comment section. Grace, I'll start with you. When Juan Soto comes to Yankee Stadium, are you booing?
Am I booing? No. But am I laughing when everybody else boos him? Yes.
Wow.
I say, Dexter, I said I wasn't going to boo him.
Wow.
I'm probably gonna be
I feel like if you're gonna laugh
yawning
when everybody else boos, that's just like booing. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well,
I feel like that's the same thing as booing.
I'm going to allow the booing. So if that I'm booing in spirit, then I guess I am.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody's going to be the person to stop the booing. Nobody wants to be that person, right? Like, hey guys, don't boo. Like nobody's
do that.
Doing
yeah.
that.
I don't think somebody wants
like
40,000 Yankee fans turning on them when they have all their energy towards Juan Soto. But for me, I talked about it on TikTok last night. First of all, if you're not following Uptown Sports TV on TikTok, please go over there and follow us. For me, I look at it with Juan Soto. He went to secure his bag, right? If it was up to me, if I'm Juan Soto and I had the same scenario, the Mets and the Yankees, I'm not leaving $100 to $150 million on it. My broke ass is not leaving $100 million on the table, right? You know, I know Juan Soto and I are totally different, $700 million, but I'm not leaving $100 million on the table. I don't know many Yankee fans that are going to turn down $100 million. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. He's probably like the only person out there in the world that's leaving $100 million on the table, but I won't. What's your thoughts on that, Dex?
Yeah, look, I don't think. I'm trying. I think he's gonna get booed. I think he's gonna get booed.
He will.
Oh, he's definitely gonna get booed.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I say that is I've seen there's different Yankee fans because I don't like lumping people onto one group. I hate doing that. I really don't like doing that. But I've just watched this from the media coverage, content creators, people I know. The Yankee fans that try to act like it didn't matter. I'm like, if it hurt you, you can say it hurt you. Like, it's okay. Like, if it hurt you that he left. I think it was jarring for the Yankee fan is what I will say. The Yankee fan was not used to seeing a guy they traded for got in or signed and then say, I'm leaving, especially to go to the Mets. And this is why the Mets fan is so full of joy. They're so hyped because they're like, we got the guy we took from the Yankees. My pause to the Mets fan is always like, that's cool. And I understand that you feel that way, but you also have to win. And two things can be true. I'm not saying the Mets fan shouldn't be it shouldn't be excited. I'm not saying the Yankee fan should not be disappointed. I still think the Yankees pivoted well. I think they'll be fine. Now, I think the man had a good season for the Yankees. I think they should applaud that man. I think they should show some respect.
No, Dexter, let me volley.
Yes, go ahead, please do.
Here's my volley. If he had left the Yankees, well, he didn't leave the Yankees. If he decided not to sign with the Yankees and he went to like the Padres, or okay, not the Padres because that's where it came from. The Giants, okay? Let's say the Giants. Would he be booed?
Probably not.
Probably not really.
It's because of who he was.
Exactly, Dexter. Exactly.
Where he went. It stings for the Yankee fan that he's right there in Flushing.
Yes.
That they're gonna have to see billboards with him and
blue,
white, and orange. I get it. I'm not someone to tell. I think fans have a right to pay for these tickets and the prices they are, and I've been very consistent on this. I think as long as you don't cross lines, I'm fine with that. You have a right to boo what you don't like. You have a right to boo performance. You have a right to boo bad. I think you should boo bad performances. I'm 100%. You're paying a lot of money to sit there. You should boo when you don't. You're not going to win all the time, but people want to see effort. Now, if a guy leaves and it hurts your soul, and you don't see him in Yankee pinstripes anymore, and he went to your crosstown rival, who never usually wins these things, okay? And Mets fans, look, I'm not saying this with any shade. We all know in this town who the big brother team is and who the little brother teams are. Mets have been little brother, okay?
Yeah. Little
brother got to win, and they're happy. And I don't think you guys are doing this. You're not hating on their happiness.
No.
You're just, as Grace said, and I understand it, you're just mad to see him in that uniform.
That's it.
You don't like.
I'm not gonna boo, but I will giggle.
Can I ask y'all a question though that I don't think I've asked anybody this yet. So I'm curious. Would it have hurt more if he had signed with the Red Sox than he had signed with the Mets?
Oh, now to me, that's an interesting conversation. I would say it hurts more for him to sign with the Mets because he's in the city, right? Just like you said, Yankee fans that are driving in from Long Island, that are going into work, you're going to see billboards of Juan Soto when you're driving through Queens. You're going to see that when you're coming on the Long Island Expressway. You're going to see big ass flyers and billboards of Juan Soto in a Mets uniform. If Juan Soto was to sign to the Red Sox, you just see it on social media, you see it when you're watching sports, when you're watching baseball. That's what you see. You're able to filter it out just a little bit better. But if now he's with the Mets, it's hard for you to filter that out. Now you got to deal with Met fans that are in the city. Now you got to deal with coworkers. You got to deal with those billboards. Like I said, on the Long Island Expressway, you're gonna see Juan Soto more in a Mets uniform than you would see him in a Red Sox uniform when it comes to marketing. So I think it's worse for him to sign with the Mets. That's just my opinion.
I see that. Grace, I assume you feel the same way.
No, actually, Heck and I talked about this earlier in the offseason before he signed, because I'm from Texas. We don't have any Mets fans down here, and that's no shade to Mets fans, but they don't exist.
I expect that, yeah.
But we have plenty of Red Sox fans down here, and I don't hate the people. I hate Red Sox as an idea. Okay, so for me, they're a bigger rival to me than the Mets, and the Astros to me are a bigger rival than the Mets because I live in Texas, right? If I lived in the city, I would feel different. But for me, I would rather him go to the Mets than the Red Sox, because that's my perspective. And Heck and I went round and round about this because he was like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand Mets fans. You don't understand. I have to listen. I have to hear it all the time. And I'm like,
you got to hear it from his mom.
Thank you. Yeah, I was about to say,
Hector has to hear it from his mom. That's rough, man. That's rough.
Dexter, when I was on with you, she texted me while I was on with you. Just a meme of people laughing, like when the Juan Soto news dropped.
That's Miss Hector, come on, man. That's listen, I get it because I grew up a Mets fan and my dad was a Yankees fan. And so, he would needle me all the time about this stuff. I will say, this is just my experience of life and covering sports. If the Red Sox had gotten Juan Soto, they would have been insufferable.
Oh, okay? Yeah.
Because I've told the story a couple times before. I will never forget this as something that in my sports coverage that I will never forget. Opening night, the Yankees were opening on Sunday Night Baseball against the Red Sox, 2010. I was at Fenway Park. And it was my first time ever going to Fenway Park. So I got there early. I was doing some work. I walked around. I'm walking around. I want to see the Green Monster, everything. I'm walking around. Game's probably about to start in 2 hours. I'm in the concourse, and this Yankee fan, probably from the Bronx, comes in. He's wearing this huge Yankees coat. It's got all the patches from the World Series on it, and wins. And he had a drum with him, and he goes, bump, bada, bump, bump, bump. The champs is here. Bump, bada, bump, bump, bump. The champs is here. And I never saw this in my life. Remember, this is 2010. This is post 2004. The look of disgust and hurt and anger on the fans of the Red Sox faces, like if they could have killed that man, they would have. They were so disgusted. I've never seen that from a fan base of looking at one person where they were like, I can't believe that this guy's here and he's celebrating his championship around us. We need him out of here. I'm telling you, if they could have kicked him out, they would have. And I was like, it's different for these Boston fans. They they hate the Yankees, but I saw it in their eyes. Like I could see it. It was in their soul. The aura of hate was just coming out. Yeah. And I was just like, it's different for them.
It's a rivalry. Like the Yankees and Red Sox rivalry right now, it's not the same like it was back in the day, right? Like you brought up, right? Or even 2003, 2004, that era of Yankees Red Sox rivalry.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's not the same, and I don't think it will ever get back to. I wish it does, right? When you look at the Red Sox, I'm big into like looking at farm systems. The Red Sox have one of the best farm systems in Major League Baseball. They have Roman Anthony, who I think is going to be a superstar. The infielder, the third baseman they traded for Garrett Crochet Meredith. I think that was a mistake by them. People view him as Dustin Pedroia 2.0. He's a phenomenal hitter. So the White Sox, they maybe stolen a superstar away from the Red Sox. But I gotta agree with you, Dex. That rivalry, Yankees Red Sox. Listen, if I was in the stadium after 2004 and the Red Sox fans would have had that energy, I would have been looking at them like, I want to murder you. Because when I was in high school and that happened 2004 and I had to go back to school the next day, it wasn't, and this is why I said it's worse that he went to the Mets. It wasn't Red Sox fans that were giving it to me that the Yankees gave
Really?
up a 3. It was Met fans that were giving it to me that the Yankees gave up a 3-0 lead to the Red Sox. It were Met fans that were torturing me over that.
So what I hear from all this, and this is why I asked the question, I find it fascinating. A lot of this has to, I'm glad you shared that, Hector, because it's like your personal experience and Grace's personal experience are a little bit different based on where you live. And I understand why Grace has this feeling and you have that feeling. And you know, Grace has to deal with the Red Sox fans that maybe approach her a certain way.
And
I will also add this one thing. This is also another story. Post 2004, this is a really short story. I was working a Yankee Red Sox game one night at the stadium. I come out. I was walking to the parking lot. I come out on whatever gate that is on the side of Jerome Avenue. And I never saw this. There was a man in a Red Sox hat, Red Sox jersey, and he was laid out on the corner, just bloody. And I don't know.
I don't mean to laugh, but
I do not mean to laugh. I'm not out here promoting violence. I just was like, yo, why were you left there alone? I had a lot of questions about that. Right? Like, did you come here by yourself and start trouble? Not saying he deserved to get beat up. Not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, what happened here? And actually, as I was walking, there happened to be some police officers walking by. And they saw him and, you know, was attending to him and see if he was okay. But he was messed up. And that's just, I say that all to say, Yankee Red Sox stuff gets real. That's all I'm saying. It can get real.
Yeah, it can get real. Like,
I love these northern people, y'all. I mean, I know I'm a Texas girl and I get it, but like, I love the New Yorkers. I love the Boston people. Like, y'all have such attitudes. Y'all are so crazy up there.
Oh, they're passionate. They're passionate about it.
Oh, they're super passionate. People are like, why do you like the Yankees? You know, growing up in Texas, why do you like the Yankees? I'm like, I just love New Yorkers. They're like, what? They're so crazy.
Grace, I have a question. Grace, I have a question I do not know about you. Are you a Cowboys fan?
Oh, man.
Oh, she is.
Dexter.
Okay.
Why are you trying to call me out like that on my Yankees show?
I was just curious. There's color similarity to the Yankees.
Yes, I am. You guys, please don't be mad. It's not my fault.
I'll never be mad, Grace. Come on, Grace. You know you're the bestie.
I am a Cowboys fan, but let me tell you, I have no disillusions about Jerry Jones or the franchise or anything else. I'm not a Dak fan. I love CD. I love, well, anyway, we could go on about this, but I didn't even care this year. I was like, oh, y'all are unserious. Y'all are fully unserious. You don't make any offseason moves and you expect this to, okay, you're going to run this back? Okay, you're unserious and I'm not watching. I don't care. I'm not like a diehard like I am for the Yankees. I watched the 2023 Yankees, okay? I watched the 2022 Yankees. No, the 2023 Yankees where it was horrible. I watched every game.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was bad. 2023.
I'm not like that about the Cowboys. So please.
I got one more video that I want to play just to get Dex's reaction to it. Yeah. It's a video that I found. I posted on Latino Sports. It's Pedro Martinez having a conversation about how he requested on 3 different occasions to be traded to the Yankees from the Montreal Expos.
Pedro, ¿te contempló en algún momento jugar para los Yankees?
Claro que sí, yo pedí cambio 3 veces para los Yankees.
¿Y por qué? ¿Y qué pasó?
Pero yo tenía la oportunidad de elegir el equipo que yo quería para yo jugar cuando yo fuera cambiado por los Expos de Montreal. Yo pedí los Yankees primero, pedí a Cleveland, que también terminó pagando la de ellos. Pedí a los Orioles, que después de ahí se deterioraron y hasta ahora están volviendo para.
So it's interesting to see Pedro Martinez reveal that and this is not the first time he said this. Pedro Martinez has been saying this over the past year on different podcasts, on different Latino Dominican podcasts. That's why I tell you guys, go out there and watch these Dominican podcasts with these baseball players. You get a different perspective from them. Please, I implore you guys. There's a lot of good ones out there. But to see Pedro Martinez say that he requested to be traded to the Yankees on 3 different occasions, he said the Red Sox weren't even a team on his list, right? He said Cleveland because of Manny Ramirez and the Dominican connection there. So I want to get your thought on it, Dexter, how history would have changed if Pedro would have went to the Yankees.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is history would have changed in the fact that he never would have threw Don Zimmer to the ground like he did that one time in the brawl. That never would have happened. Pedro Martinez is one of my favorite pitchers of all time. I was always a huge Pedro Martinez fan. Sorry, guys, there were some Red Sox that I actually like. Pedro Martinez, Manny Ramirez, 2 of my favorite players of all time. Yeah, if he had pitched for Man, I'm thinking about the time too. This is going to be, that probably would have been, he's talking about there that he's at the Expo. So this is like 94, 95, so around that strike season. Man, that would have been crazy because you'd been part of those Yankee championship teams post 96. I mean, when you look at that run, if you talk about 96, 2000, Pedro was one of the best pitchers in the game. I will argue with people, for a man of his size, we've never seen somebody like his stature. He's not a big guy, pitch like that with the velocity and the accuracy, ability to paint the corners. Man, Pedro would have been a problem on the Yankees.
Yeah.
And it would, I'll tell you what, because I love Pedro and I always loved how he pitched, the intensity with which he pitched. I think you had to respect that as a competitor. Red Sox fans would have hated y'all more. Oh. They would have hated you guys so much more because of how he pitched. Because I think there's also an argument for, there's a couple of seasons that I forget them off the top of my head, where Pedro probably should have won the Cy Young and didn't, but it was in between him and Randy Johnson, who were at the top of their game.
Randy Johnson.
It was another great.
Yeah.
Pedro on pinstripes. It's funny. The funny thing I remember saying is I have a cousin who's a big Yankee fan, and he wanted Pedro so bad on the Yankees. It's all he ever wanted. He was like, my cousin Damien, shout out to him. He was always like, I need Pedro. We need Pedro on the Yankees. We played these baseball video games. He trade for him all the time. It wasn't even fair. Pedro on a Yankee team wouldn't have been fair because he easily would have been. He's better than Clemens at the end of when he comes to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think if the Yankees have Pedro Martinez, I don't think there's a need to trade for Roger Clemens if you have Pedro, because that's why they traded for Pedro. They didn't have a number one star. I mean, that's why they traded for Clemens, because they didn't have a number one starter. So if you have Pedro, you got your number one starter. You're not trading for Roger Clemens. And shout out to Mark T-Maker, who was at that 17 strikeout game against the Yankees.
Yeah, it's a great point, because what I was just saying is he easily would have been the best Yankees pitcher of that team. And let's say everything still happens the same for the Yankees and they win 4 championships in that time. His number's retired. Yeah, he's in Monument Park. And
talk about all these old pitchers.
History would be different. What's your thoughts on this, Grace? And I'm sorry, one thing Pedro said on one of the podcasts, he said that it's not in this clip that I showed you, that the player that stopped the trade from happening, the Yankees didn't want to give up, was Ramiro Mendoza, the reliever. That's what stopped the whole Pedro Martinez coming to the.
He was a very good long reliever, and
he was a very solid, very serviceable, big part of that Yankees bullpen. But you cannot tell me that is what stopped you from getting a Hall of Fame pitcher like Pedro Martinez. Grace, what's your thoughts on that? Shout out to my guy Joel in the building. Salute to you. Go ahead, Grace. And then we got to wrap things up.
I was just going to say the old school pitcher, the way that they used to play the game and how it's just changing now so much. And aces only pitch 5-6 innings now. Maybe the beginning of the 7th inning, and they're pulled. These old guys, we're talking about Randy Johnson, we're talking about Pedro Martinez. You're bringing up all these old style guys, and man, we watched some great baseball back in the day, and I just miss those days. Like, the way pitching is changing, and the game is just, not that anything's wrong with change, it's just different. But man, that was a time. What a time to be alive.
What a time
that was.
What time to be alive. Dex, predictions for the season, wins, losses for the Yankees.
Right now, as the roster stands, I'm going to say 94 wins. 94 wins. They win the AL East. I think that could bump up if they upgrade at third base. I might be then willing to go 97, 98. But I'm going to say 94. I think they have a solid season. Orioles are the main competition. Red Sox will be better. And they all have something to say. But I think the Yankees still win the AL East. I'm going to go 94 wins right now. I'll go with 94 wins. I feel confident in that. I think the Yankees pitching really carries them a lot this year till the offense. I can see the offense being, I don't want to say like bad, but like kind of mid until I think the offense could be really good. But I could see him like the first couple of months being a little slow and then really coming together as the summer heats up, which I think Yankee fans would rather see than the June swoon that they saw last year. I think they would rather see it that way. I could see that with some guys like Volpe and Dominguez finding their footing. I could see that happening, but I see the pitching being pretty good all year. I see that.
Yeah. I could agree with 94 wins. Grace, what about you? And then we'll cut things out.
Yeah. Just because I have to cheer for the Yankees harder than my boy Dexter, I'll say 95 wins. Price is right rolls. 95 wins. I definitely believe in this team. It's going to be a different style than last year, and it's going to be a fresh take on Yankees baseball, and I'm here for it. So I'm calling right now, Jasson Dominguez is going to have an incredible year, and all of y'all are going to come back to the Martian party.
I like it. Rookie of the year.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. Dexter, appreciate you like always, my guy. It's always a pleasure. Your family over here. Anytime you need myself or Grace, you already know. Send out the bat signal and we'll be there.
Yeah, well, you guys will be doing a lot more with me coming up this season. I can't believe baseball will be back soon, heating up. I always appreciate you guys. Shout out to you, Grace. Pleasure to connect with you on here for the first time, although we'll connect a lot more. And Hector, keep doing what you're doing on Uptown Sports TV. And I will thank the people. Thank you to the people that came and watched, that continue to support independent content creation, independent journalism. I always like to say that. Please continue to support the people in any way that you can, especially female voices like Grace, especially Latino voices like Hector. We have to continue to support and uplift. And so thank you guys for letting me be part of the platform. I'm honored. Thank you.
Dexter, appreciate you like always, fam. Appreciate you. You guys can find Dexter Henry on SNY and New York Post. Make sure you follow Dexter Henry on all social media platforms. Like I said, Dexter Henry is family over here. John, appreciate you. I'm going to get John up here. Me and John, we're going to do some stuff. Make sure you guys go and follow NYC Pinstripe Club. Go follow him on TikTok. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. Him and I are going to be doing some stuff during the season. But always, Grace and I will be rocking out on the mornings for Yankees Morning Brew. Make sure you guys follow us on TikTok. I'm doing TikTok lives over there. I know a lot of people thinking TikTok is going to be shut down. I pray that is not shut down, because I've been able to meet a phenomenal Yankees community over the past week and a half, and they've been amazing. Ghost and I, we did a TikTok live last night for about an hour and a half, and it was phenomenal. So appreciate all you guys. Grace, you are the bestie. I love you so much. Last words for the people, and we'll wrap things up.
Last words is I'm excited to move on from Roki Sasaki. We didn't get him, but we're moving on. What's next? Let's go Yankees. Yankees for life. No matter what. Bandwagoners, jump off.
Facts. Folks in the chat, shout out to Nathaniel Crenshaw. Appreciate you, my guys. Salute. Kristen Castillo for being in the chat. My guy, the Big Jappo, was in the building. Shout out to the Big Jappo. Like always, appreciate you, my guy. Siciliano, salute to you. Angel Crispin, Frederick Dean is in the building. Frederick Dean, the Rooter, shout out to you. Graham Highlander, appreciate you. Chris K, who was in the building. L.I. Yankee King, the only troll in the Yankee universe that Grace and I acknowledge is L.I. Yankee King. Shout out to Cadzilla as well. Appreciate everybody. Smack that like button, hit that subscribe button, and like always, guys, make sure you guys drink some water. Say something positive about yourself. Reach out to friends. Damien sends his love. Damien is just super busy. Shout out to TC Stills, my brother from another mother. Appreciate you, TC, like always. And until next time, I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
This is Yankees Morning Brew, and we will be back next Thursday. And until next time, deuces, you handsome, sexy bastards out there in the universe. Bye. Outro, come on.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.